What's
Hey,
up?
what's up, guys? Hey, so we are back after the for the long-awaited blind spots that we've been putting off for like a month or whatever it is. So we're
Probably a little
finally
longer, I
back
feel
at
like.
it. Yeah. So basically, blind spots kind of just come like has become one of those shows where we just kind of do it whenever we're able to. We make sure that we at least have tier ranker fights once a week for you guys. But
Right.
but beyond that, I mean, whenever we can do a blind spots, a 1v200, and we have a podcast coming up. I can't really say too much about, but it's a little in the works. So we'll
I'm
announce more
excited, man. Definitely.
about that coming up soon. Yeah, so it should be a good time. So, but yeah, we are here obviously as you saw to talk about the movie Taxi Driver. So, but before we get into it, I'm gonna introduce my co-host Chris Scott, the Casablanca Kid. How you doing?
What's up, buddy? Doing good, man. Dealing with a little bit of a stress fracture right now, which kind of sucks. It's one of those things where, like,
Your
the
ankle?
worst thing probably is my pride, because I think I can do so much more, and then I get going on my foot, and my foot just like yells at me. So that's probably the worst thing. And I'm not totally sure how I did it. It's right on top of my right foot, kind of right underneath my toes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow, that's really a horrible description. Yeah, right underneath my right toes. Yeah.
Just like one of those freak things, It just kind of happens, Yeah, crazy.
Exactly. The joy of getting older.
Right. Yep. Exactly. The joys of getting older. Yeah. So, and also, you're finally back after a little hiatus. You were on a little honeymoon trip with your wife. So, how was that?
Mm-hmm. That was nice, man.
Yeah.
Got to go away to McCall and relax and take it easy.
Nice.
Of course, I missed joining you guys on tier ranker fights for the Nickelodeon shows. That was just absolutely awesome, man. And I love what you guys did with the first part for the horror movies of 2000.
Oh,
I was actually really, really surprised, like, how many legit horror movies came out in 2000.
Right. Yeah. Like there's quite a few. So will we be probably having another one in maybe mid to late May? We'll be doing best horror movies of the 80s. The 80s for horror movies is just stacked. There's tons of horror movies. And a lot of horror movies I haven't seen. So I'm getting some advice from a couple of friends as to what I should watch to make sure that I watch the essential ones.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, let's jump into the tier ranker. I mean, not tier ranker. The blind spots. We're gonna jump into that, and so we're gonna talk about Taxi Driver. So I watched this movie. So I watched it probably about 3 weeks ago or so. But then I did a little rewatch where I just kind of rewatched some of like the real key scenes and stuff. Rewatched the ending. Rewatched like some of the real iconic scenes. So I went back to do that. So just a little bit about Taxi Driver. So this movie was released February 26, 1976. So I think that this year they actually had the 45th anniversary of Taxi Driver this year. So it's kind of crazy to think 45 years ago this movie came out. Yeah. This movie's
and I didn't really yeah. I kind of blew my mind how many lines and stuff I knew from this movie, like the "Are you talking to me?" and what followed afterwards.
Yep.
From that was amazing.
Right. Yeah, and like I would try to do a Robert De Niro impression, but I'd probably totally butcher it. I know a lot of people can do like, "Are you talking to me? You talking to me?" And they do like the whole chin thing, but like. I'm no good at it, so
no, I'm not good at that either, buddy.
Yeah, but
I recently have been kind of doing like the TikTok thing, man, and a lot of these people are really, really good at like doing duets and like lip syncing, and I am horrible at that, man. My lips are totally off of songs. I'm not really good at doing like impressions, really, of like anybody. So it makes it kind of fun.
There's a few impressions that I'd like to try to do from time to time, but I mean, I'm no expert though. But
right.
Oh, and we have Austin chiming in. So he says that he's sending me a gift box full of horror movies, which is awesome. So literally Austin's been doing something awesome, which I really appreciate. He did not have to do this at all, but he's been going through all of his movies because he's a huge movie collector. He said he's got like almost 2,000 movies, like a ton of movies. So he has a lot of duplicates. So he's gonna send me a bunch of duplicates for my birthday coming up in about a week or so. And then also he went to he was on vacation and he went to this big used bookstore, I think in like Nashville area, and he found all these movies that most of them are essential like 80s horror movies that I have not seen yet. So
dude, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, so I'm super excited for it. So I really appreciate that,
Ron, man. So my buddy Ron was essential in hooking me up with quite a bit of my collection too. So like I now have all of the Jason movies.
Really?
Including now Jason Goes to Hell and Jason X, which are very like they're ridiculously impossible to find. Unless you get them like through like Shout Factory or something like that.
Yeah, there's certain ones.
He also hooked me up with the whole complete Puppet Master series, so I have those.
Oh, right on.
He got me the Blu-ray edition of Children of the Corn, the first one.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
And that's one we'll be doing eventually. We'll be doing 70s too. So we're probably going to cover like I want to say like 70s on, and we may I haven't decided yet. We may do like a whole entire episode to do movies that came out before 1970, and like some Alfred Hitchcock and some things like that. Possibly.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Yeah,
we have to.
Yeah, or I need to see how many movies actually came out in the 70s, which I'm sure a ton of them, because I thought about maybe combining them with the 70s, but like having pre-70s maybe a whole entire episode on its own, So
it is.
Yeah,
it is.
So, but so yeah, we'll let's see. So Austin's here. He says, I'm getting all my old Friday the 13th Blu-ray set, and I'm picking the new Scream Factory box set, which the Scream Factory box set. That thing is like crazy, like insanely good. Because of the sheer amount of the special features that they have. So like I've heard that they just have like that it's just packed with like behind the scenes stuff, all these special features. Like the Shout Factory puts out some really cool stuff. So,
ridiculously amazing stuff, man. Awesome.
A lot of really cool box sets.
Yeah.
Yep. So that'll be awesome to have. So, but and I appreciate it because I'm probably gonna get his duplicates because of that. Because one of the things about me, I've never seen any of the original Friday the 13th movies. So I saw Freddy versus Jason, and then I saw the crazy remake that they did of Friday the 13th. But besides that, I haven't seen any of the real iconic ones that everyone says are the good ones. So yeah, that'll be fun to check those out. So, but getting into the movie some more. So a Taxi Driver, obviously it's directed by Martin Scorsese. So, and I want to say this was the very first movie that he directed, but I think maybe he had like maybe Mean Streets or something before this. I can't remember 100%. I should know that for this episode, but
let me look.
But it's one of his first though. I want to say that it was like at least in his like first 3 movies. So, and when you find it, you can just go ahead and just shout it out. Just say it, and you can interrupt me. But
will do, buddy.
I'm just gonna give you a little synopsis here. So, the synopsis story from Taxi Driver. So, suffering from insomnia, disturbed loner Travis Bickle, played by Robert De Niro, takes a job as a New York City cabbie, haunting the streets nightly, growing increasingly detached from reality as he dreams of cleaning up the filthy city. And when Travis meets pretty campaign worker Betsy, played by Sybil Shepherd, he becomes obsessed with the idea of saving the world, first plotting to assassinate a presidential candidate, then directing his attentions toward rescuing a 12-year-old prostitute named Iris, played by Jodie Foster. So that's basically the gist of Taxi Driver. And the cast for Taxi Driver is absolutely stacked. So you have Robert De Niro playing the main character, Travis Bickle, obviously. And you have Sybil Shepherd playing the campaign worker, Betsy. You have Jodie Foster playing a 12-year-old prostitute, which is kind of nuts to even think about. But then you have Albert Brooks. So he's in it playing Tom, and he's a fellow cab driver. That they have a little spot at this diner where they all meet up before their night shifts and stuff, and just kind of talk about everything. And then you have Peter Boyle, who for those of you might know him as playing the monster in Young Frankenstein, and also playing the dad from Everybody Loves Raymond. So he's in there. He plays another fellow cab driver named Wizard. And then you have Harvey Keitel playing Sport, who's a pimp. So nice.
All right.
He says, by the way, I'm listening to you while finishing up at work. Cool, man. Cool. Well,
very nice, man.
We're happy to have you, man.
We're happy to have you following us along. So I know you said you thought it was Mean Streets. Dude, this kind of blows my mind, okay? So first he directed shorts, all right? Apparently, and I'm going to totally slaughter this because it looks like maybe it's French. Visa Uviz V
Okay.
VI.
He directed a film or something?
Yeah, he did several other shorts. But it looks like first movie he did was Who's Knocking on My Door in 1967.
Okay.
He did Boxcar Bertha in 1972. He did Mean Streets. He did Alice Doesn't Live Anymore.
Okay.
And then we have Taxi Driver. And of course, it kind of goes from there. But
so,
yeah, it's
3 or 4 movies before, but I think probably his most well-known, his first one is probably Mean Streets. But then you get into Taxi Driver. Those are probably his 2 like biggest theatrical ones that he started out with. So what I got to do it to you, we got to play the little game here. So
absolutely,
you got to guess what you think the Rotten Tomatoes score is. So what do you think that the critics gave Taxi Driver on Rotten Tomatoes? Just think of the type of a movie that it is, and then what you think critics would think about that. Like what for a score out of 100%.
Critics. I'm gonna say that the critics probably gave this probably an 80.
So the critics actually, so you're kind of close. The critics gave it a 96%. So it's like literally that high. So yeah, this is like
ridiculously high.
Yeah, this is one of the highest rated movies like out there. And it might be even Martin Scorsese's highest rated movie, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, the 96%. But then what do you think that the audience gave it out of 100? If the critics went 96, what would the audience be at?
Gosh, I wanted to say like for content, maybe one of these guys was like, it's bad or it's damaging to kids or families.
You never know.
Because we'll have to get my take on this. But gosh, I want to say they probably gave it an 87%. I don't think they were as high as them.
Well, so you're even closer on the audience score. The audience actually gave it a 93, so the audience gave it a really high score. So yeah, I was kind of surprised on the audience score. I'm not too surprised on the critic score because it seems like one of those movies that most critics would probably gravitate towards, just the way that it's done, the way it's filmed, like the dramatic role and stuff. I didn't think it'd quite go 96 because it is pretty graphic in some scenes.
It's pretty graphic and it's pretty gritty and it's pretty real.
It is, yeah.
So that was maybe why I thought maybe it might fall a little lower.
Right.
I think I'd probably actually agree more so with the critics, man. I'd give this like if I was gonna do it, it'd be like 100%.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it is one of those all-time classic movies that you hear it quoted all the time. Like it's like yeah. So for me, I have a little bit of a hot take. So like I like well, so like I like the movie, but I would say that I didn't love it just because like I thought that it was a pretty slow burn and like it just took a little while to get to the like gist and the point of everything. So like he's just driving and like talking and like but like if you really listen to like what he's saying and like all the setup, it's actually like a pretty awesome way that he sets it up and like you kind of need the slow burn just to kind of get inside of his head and to really understand what he's really going through. So yeah, but for me though, like it's a little slow for me, but I do recognize though that the performance from Robert De Niro is like one of the all-time great performances. Like Robert De Niro absolutely killed it in this role. Like he literally transformed into this character, and I think it's one of his like coolest roles because like he was young and he's in his prime. Like this is like the prime of his career. Like when he's young, and like a lot of girls, like my wife, said that she thinks that young Robert De Niro is pretty cute. So that's what she tells me. So I mean, yeah. So I mean, yeah, but, you know that. But until he gets the mohawk, then he looks kind of like kind of freaky looking. I don't know. That's probably the best way to put it. But but yeah. But before that, though, he kind of like reminds me of like the way he looked kind of maybe in Godfather Part 2. You know, kind of like that. But yeah. So if I were to pick out some of my favorite moments from Taxi Driver, like I definitely do have some like moments that I absolutely love from this movie. So I love in the beginning when he's just driving around New York City and just talking about how New York City is just nothing but a scum-filled dump that needs to be just cleaned up, and like he needs to just cleanse all the just crazy, just dirty, nasty people that just ruin the city for him. So like that I really like, and then I also like how he how he goes after Sybil in the movie, and he has a really direct approach to it all, but just kind of like walking right into the campaign office. He's like, I want to take you on a date. We're going to go on a date. And at first you kind of like, well, like, I don't know, like I'm a little busy. I don't know if I can just go, like, this is a little weird. And then he says, oh, what about tomorrow? And like, I feel like he would have kept going. It would have been like, what about the next day? What about the next day? Like, I'm going to take you out no matter what. And he's like really firm and like direct. And eventually she agrees to it. And so he ends up taking her out on a date, and then things go pretty well for the first date. And I really like how he like narrates everything. He's like very descriptive, talking about like everything that they ordered, what the conversation was, all these different things. And then he asked her out on a second date, and she's still a little weary of it, but he won't take no for an answer. So he says that he really wants to take her to a movie. So eventually she agrees to it. So they go to this movie. It ends up being an adult movie, kind of like a porn or something. So
yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it is a dirty movie theater. Yes, in like CD, New York.
But like, from looking at the like title of it, like I didn't really think that it was going to be like, it was kind of a surprise when they got in there. Like I had a little bit of an idea. Like I'm like I just like, he just seemed like the kind of guy that would take her to a dirty movie. But like from but from the title, like maybe this isn't a dirty movie. But then they get in there, I'm like, oh yeah, this is definitely a very adult movie. So
it was really pretty hilarious. Her reaction, yeah.
Yeah, she gets freaked out, like just kind of storms off. She's like, "This is not the type of thing that I'm into. Like this is gross. I don't want to see this. Like get away from me. Like basically, like she gets kind of freaked out by him and like doesn't really want anything to do with him anymore. But he doesn't want to take no for an answer still. So he starts sending her flowers. He starts calling her all the time to try to win her back. Eventually, he gets pretty like like, I don't know, kind of like upset and like depressed, and so he starts drinking, and he shows up to the campaign office drunk, and so he walks in drunk, and he's like, why won't you answer any of my phone calls? He's like, I've been calling you, I've been leaving you messages. I know you've been hearing them. Like, I know you've heard all my messages. So like, why haven't you been answering? You can tell that he's like totally drunk, and then he's like stumbling around, and eventually they have to throw him out of there, and like he like fights with the guy when they're trying to throw him out. All that. So, but yeah, and then also too, one of my other favorite moments when he meets the traveling salesman. He has to like show him all the guns that he wants to buy and stuff. So they're like going through all the different ones that he wants. And you think he's only going to buy one. He ends up setting aside all the guns he really likes, and he ends up buying like 4 guns or something like that. So, but then of course you have the iconic like, you talking to me scene. So he's just kind of training with a gun, kind of like imagining what it'd be like when he actually kills someone for the first time. He's like, you talking to me, man? You talking to me? And like just kind of just like going over the whole scenario and everything, which is like one of those iconic scenes, you know? So, but then also I love when you see him doing his workout too. He's like doing the like clapping push-ups and then doing pull-ups every day. And he's saying he wants to keep his body in peak physical condition so he can be able to accomplish what he wants to accomplish. And then one of the coolest scenes when you see him holding his arm over the stove and like burning something into his arm, and you see him flexing, you just see all the veins popping out of his arm and everything. Just like, oh man, he is ripped. Man.
Just ridiculous transformation for this movie he went through.
Yeah, seriously.
What blows my mind is I was reading, I know I showed you the article, but it's pretty well known that whole scene with him practicing in front of the mirror, for instance, practicing with the gun, where he says that famous line, "You talking to me?" was actually all 100% ad-libbed. The only thing he had as a description of the scene was he's supposed to be talking to himself in front of the mirror.
Yeah.
It's always told, and he just went for it.
Yeah, so that's awesome. That like he just ad-libbed it and ended up being one of the most quoted scenes in like any movie history, really. So
well, what kind of blows my mind is all the dialogue that comes after that, isn't it? Hold on, now I gotta look it up.
Right.
Need dialogue. Sorry, more than just that, and I did not know that.
Yeah, like I wrote down some of my favorite quotes where he's like, "You talking to me? Are you talking to me?" Like he repeats it a bunch of times. And he's like, "Then who the hell else you talking to?"
Yes.
Because I'm the only one standing here. So you talking to me? You know? Yeah.
Yes. It's like, it blows my mind that like I didn't know all that other dialogue came with that line right there. Incredible.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Austin one more time. He puts, gotta love the scene at the concession stand where like it's pissed at the guy behind the concession counter. Yeah, that's definitely a great scene right there. But yeah, like I'm just trying to think of like some of my other favorite scenes. So like eventually everything ramps up like it gets pretty crazy. So like for me, so all the scenes of him just driving around in the taxi cab, they're great scenes, and they're scenes that absolutely need to be there. That's when it just kind of drags a little bit. But then when he finally pulls off his big plan, so he goes in and he shoots a guy. And I want to say that I can't remember if it was the guy that was running for president or if it was like his landlord or something like that. The first guy that he shoots at his apartment, and then he just goes through the apartment. He shoots the guy's hand off or whatever, and then there's a whole tracking scene in the hallway where like he keeps shooting people. Eventually, he gets shot. You know, so yeah, definitely some crazy moments.
He's helping. Okay, so when he goes there, he goes there to help Jodie Foster's character.
Okay, yeah, that
goes there to set her free.
That's what I thought.
One of my favorite scenes is when he takes her out for food.
Oh yeah,
And they're talking. That's a great scene. Oh
yeah,
one
for
of the
sure.
more interesting things that I thought was interesting about this movie is that apparently California at the time had a law that in order to make movies like this, because it's pretty graphic as we've been talking about, that she had to take a psych eval to make sure that she'd come out okay because she was preteen at this point.
Right,
Of course,
yeah.
Jodie Foster was not the mind blowing actress that we know now, but she's still. I
Right.
mean, for her limited role, I thought it was incredible. I feel like you definitely kind of got a preview of what her acting ability was, however brief it was.
Yeah, right.
You know, and then you had the scene with her and her John.
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely a powerful scene. Yep.
So when Robert De Niro's character finally is like, I'm gonna, because he says, oh yeah, he says, I'm gonna get you out of here so
Yep.
you can leave. He sends her money while he goes to make sure she's left, and that's when he's turned away at the door.
Oh yeah,
I don't know if you're
right.
kind of remembering that now.
Yeah, and they have the whole scene where like when he sees her for the first time, he just wants to set her free right then and there. So he goes up to Harvey Keitel's character. He plays the like pimp boss guy,
Yeah.
and he just wants to pay her off or pay him off to try and set her free. But he's like, no, like you got to go out with her. You got to give her the money. That's how it works.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, all right, I got to do what I got to do, I guess. So he ends up taking her out and stuff. So yeah, but so I wrote down some of my favorite quotes here that are pretty awesome, I thought. So like he just has some like really cool quotes where like some while he's training, some while he's just driving around on the taxi cab. Even before he becomes a cab driver, like he would just drive around the streets anyways. He'd just go out there for hours and just drive all night long because he has insomnia, can't sleep, so he just up all night. So one of the quotes is like, where he's like, all the criminals come out at night: whores, skunks, pussies, buggers, queens, fairies, dopers, junkies, sick, venile. Someday a real rain will come in and wash all this scum off the streets. It's like I go all over. I take people to the Bronx, Brooklyn, take them to Harlem. I don't care. Don't make no difference to me. But does to some. Some won't even take spooks. Don't make no difference to me. So like he just wants to just get out there and just drive. He doesn't really care. So
all right, keep his mind occupied.
Yeah,
which is why he gets the job in the very beginning. Because he's
exactly.
like, I just need a job. He says, I don't care what time it is. Yeah.
I don't care what
he
the
says
pay
he just
is.
needs
I don't
to
care
keep.
about any
He
of that.
doesn't care about the pay. He just wants to drive. I mean, because he's
Exactly.
walking everywhere, anyways.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. But yeah, we have Austin in the chat. He's just talking about like how he just loves all the era for movies in the 70s. Like you have Mean Streets, you have The French Connection, just like a capsule.
French Connection is hands down one of the greatest movies ever made.
Oh yeah, for sure. And like all of it is just a capsule of like the time period in New York City. You know, you get to see like how it was back then, and like how much more grittier that really was back then. You know, so yeah, it's pretty cool to see that kind of stuff. And then just a couple more of my favorite quotes. So one of the quotes I really like where he says, the idea had been growing in the back of my brain for some time. So he's like talking about how he wants to assassinate this guy. He's like, true force. All the king's men cannot put it back together again. So it's like basically like he's just saying like it's this idea, and like he's like so driven to carry out this plan that is willing to go to extreme lengths to make it happen, and he can't get it out of his head, you know. So he's like, I got a lot of bad ideas in my head. He's like I just want to get out, and, you know, really, really do something. So like he really wants to make a difference, but he's crazy. So like obviously, like in a psychotic way. Crazy. Yeah.
Yes.
So, yep.
Yeah.
And then when he's talking about how lonely he is, like he's just on his own, just kind of like he's just a loner all the time, and just like travels all throughout the city. So he says, loneliness has followed me everywhere my whole life, everywhere, in bars, in cars, sidewalks, stores, everywhere. There's no escape. I'm God's lonely man. June 8th, my life has taken another turn again. The days can go on with regularity over and over, one day indistinguishable from the next, a long continuous chain. Then suddenly there's a change. And there's a big change when he pretty much like comes up with all these ideas. He gets the mohawk. He kind of goes like really off the freaking rails. So
yeah, he does. Yeah. So apparently that the look you're talking about. Let's see. Oh my gosh, I'm pulling this from this article.
Oh yeah,
that I showed you. Travis Bickle's mohawk was inspired by American soldiers in Vietnam.
Okay, yeah.
So that's why he gets kind of the jacket and stuff. Among the film's many iconic images,
that makes sense.
Travis Bickle's getup is probably the most remarkable. Despite his pale skin and thin frame throughout much of the film, his appearance never strays too far from respectable. Roy dramatically dons his tin mohawk, reflective of aviators and faded green jacket. Details of conflict and depth style owed to a conversation Robert De Niro and Martin Scorsese had with Victor Magnotta, who played a photographer in the film. Magnotta had served in Vietnam, and his description of soldier preparation for missions directly influenced Bickle's design. According to Scorsese, in Saigon, if you saw a guy with his shaved head like a little mohawk, that usually meant those people were ready to go into a certain military situation. You don't even go near them. They were ready to slay.
Right, yeah. So like basically it sounds like he just like how the most like hardcore soldiers during Vietnam time, the ones that just were like just like him, kind of batshit crazy and just like we're just like what you say, like ready to slay. So like just ready to just go nuts pretty much. So
yeah,
for sure. And also too, like I think at the end of the movie, spoiler alert, this movie's 45 years old. So but
so you think we're cleared for spoiler to this point? I mean, man, I haven't seen this movie. You had never seen this movie,
right? Well,
I mean, I hadn't. Yeah.
Well, for me, like I'm giving the spoiler alert. If you want to tune in and like come back in like 2-3 minutes, but like I just wanted to just mention just a little thing is that so like at the end of the movie, like I thought that he died, but maybe he didn't die.
Did not die
because he got shot, but then you see him back like kind of trying to reconnect with the girl a little bit, you know. So
yeah, he reconnects with the girl, and also he's cleared of all wrongdoing, and he's kind of
right
in the newspapers made a hero because he takes out these mobsters.
Yeah, right.
Running basically this sex ring.
Right, yeah.
Or pimps, yep. So he's exonerated, yeah. And actually, he reaches out to the end scene is that powerful letter that he gets from the parents of the little girl who he saved.
Yeah, right. It's a super powerful moment, and you kind of find out that like even though he was like crazy, that like underneath it all, he had good intentions. Like he just wanted to just help this girl out. He wanted to just help clean up some of the like scum that he calls like in the city, and just kind of try and make it somewhat of a better place. He wanted to try to make a difference. And one of the things that I like is is the final quote of the movie. It's a pretty powerful one. So he says, "Listen, you fuckers, you screwheads. Here's a man who would not take it anymore. A man who stood up against the scum, the cunts, the dogs, the filth, the shit. Here is a man who stood up." So like he just like in the end he decided to take a stand, and he really made a difference to a lot of people, even though like he had to kind of like go kind of over the top to do it, but way over the top to do it. But
we're not advocating this shit.
No, not at all.
Can I just kind of, so I know I've been kind of referring to this article. I want to read a few more things from it, some interesting behind the scenes from an article from ranker.com. You look up taxi driver. Article was written by Skylar Hantarata and on September 11th, 2019. Let's see. So I talked about earlier, I said to appear in the film, Jodie Foster had to pass the psych evaluation. Yep. So given the nature of Iris, the preteen street worker played by Jodie Foster, the actress was subjected to rigorous testing before she was cleared to appear in the film. Some of it even includes psychological evaluations. California's strict vetting standards for underage performers at the time required proof their work would not lead to lasting harm. Just how thoroughly Foster was screened is questionable, however, as Californians then Governor Edmund Brown reportedly stepped in to expedite her process. Okay. Let's see. The crew had to hire syndicates to protect them from other groups while they were filming. So in other words, there was basically around the clock security.
Yeah, for sure.
Sorry, continue.
Oh, so I was just gonna say that there's one more little thing that Austin threw up here, but there's some theories about the ending being maybe a fantasy in his head, but like who knows? I think he was probably still alive. That's kind of a fun theory to kind of think about, like
that he actually could be dead,
it's all just a fantasy.
Just fantasize, or maybe he okay.
Maybe he's somewhere else, just having this whole fantasy, you know. I mean, who knows? So like that's
reach out to him.
Yeah, so that's kind of the beauty of the film, that like you can think of the ending. You can think of so many parts in so many different ways. There's really a lot of commentary for like how our like how life was back then, how life as compared to now, you know, just all those different things, you know. And the movie actually holds up despite being from the 70s. Like, I mean, I think that it holds up really well. So.
Oh yeah.
So,
well.
Yeah, definitely.
Another interesting thing, apparently, so the famous shootout you talked about, it actually had to be desaturatized to prevent an X rating. As Travis Bickle's alienation sets in, behaves in increasingly a despicable manner, ranging from his infamous adult theater date with Sybil Shepherd's Betsy to botching an attempt on the life of a presidential candidate, Charles Palpatine. When Bickle finally achieves this twisted version of success, however, the MPAA nearly revolted after Scorsese screened a print for the studio and the ratings board. It was slapped with an X to lower the rating and distribute the film to a broad audience. Scorsese desaturatized the final skirmish, reducing the vividness of the blood spilling from Bickle and his marks. This tactic worked, and the film debuted as rated R, which is interesting to me because I was talking to my dad about that film in particular, and like that style of shooting and the up and close personalness, it felt like of a fight. And like how many movies I've seen today that I feel like kind of look at this and be like, okay, that's how we want a fight to be.
Right. And there's so many movies that take a lot from Taxi Driver, like in the shooting style, the fight scenes, all like the way that he trains, all those things. Like I think of movies like The Joker, like that movie has so many similarities to that movie. Or there's another one with with Robert De Niro called The King of Comedy. I don't know if you've ever seen that one, but that one's
yeah.
That one's pretty similar. I mean, there's a lot of movies that like give me that those kind of vibes. Even like Apocalypse Now has some of the like vibes from the look of like how he dressed and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely like.
So Robert De Niro got a cab driver's license to prepare for the role.
Okay.
Ever the method actor, Robert De Niro played to play a resentful veteran and cabbie, Travis Bickle, by driving a cab himself. In the months leading up to filming, he reportedly worked 12-hour days, which he ferried New Yorkers throughout the city. Of course, his customers were likely clueless as to their driver's identity, given that De Niro, though a problem at the time due to mean streets and The Godfather Part 2, was still on his way to becoming an A-lister star. So, pretty incredible.
Yeah, like imagine just getting into a taxi cab and it's Robert De Niro driving it. I mean, he's a lot more famous now, so back then probably people didn't really recognize him as much. But I'm sure, like, I gotta imagine there's someone out there that's like, "Hey, weren't you in The Godfather or something?" You know,
right? You gotta think like somebody would have been like, you're Robert De Niro. You were in The Godfather."
Right.
Apparently, as a direct payoff of his commitments, he was nominated for an Oscar for his performance.
Okay.
And
that makes
so
sense.
the whole look,
they should have won.
Right, he should have absolutely won. And now I'm curious what it was up against.
Right.
So the whole look of the city, like with the trash and everything else, and the whole heat wave they were experiencing was actually, interestingly enough, based on what was actually going on in New York City at the time. There was trash in the streets because the actual trash people were on strike.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And the city was in near bankruptcy. The city of New York almost filed for bankruptcy in 1975.
Okay.
And there was a massive heat wave. So that all led to what we have, like, as you said, that gritty, well, I hate to say mean look at the streets, but I'm gonna go with that.
The mean streets, yeah, right. Yeah, I was trying to look up who is actually up against, because I'm kind of curious to see.
Do that, please. Yeah. And I have a couple more here.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's see. We kind of talked about this off show, but a composer, Bernard Herrmann, passed hours after working on this film. Martin Scorsese, a successful lips of a legendary composer, Bernard Herrmann, is remarkable, given the man behind the music of Psycho, Citizen Kane, Vertical, and for many other classics, passed only hours after completing his work on Taxi Driver. Even getting him on board was no easy feat, as Herrmann initially rejected the proposal due to not knowing anything about cab drivers. The sequence in which Bickles pours schnapps over bread for breakfast won the composer over, and his last piece of work remains as affecting today as it did upon the film's 1976 release. Herrmann deliberately crafted a transcendent score that has saxophone and harp-laden instrumentals, contrasting Bickles' descent into self-loathing. In doing so, he completed one of the last entry in a canon filled with incredible work.
Okay. Yeah, so that's pretty crazy that, like, he did the music for what was it, Psycho, and then what was the other one that he did?
Psycho, Vertigo.
That's right.
But there were lots of others. I mean, I think I looked them up after this, because a while back I was creating a music soundtrack score playlist to write by.
Okay.
There's so much good music in those to write by.
Yeah, right.
And it kind of blew my mind how much he actually did.
Yeah, so it looks like Robert De Niro, he was up against William Holden for Network, Peter Finch for Network, and also Sylvester Stallone for Rocky, and then this guy I'm not as familiar with, Giancarlo Giannini for Seven Beauties, I guess was the other one, and then Robert De Niro. So, but he lost to I want to say that he lost to Peter Finch for For network, yeah, that's what it was. Yep.
Okay.
So yeah, pretty stacked cast. Like network, like the famous line, like where he's like, "I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore." Like that's that movie.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's him.
Yes.
Yeah. So
okay.
So that's a powerhouse performance right there too. And then you have Rocky, Sylvester Stallone. So yeah, some powerhouses, and also Rocky won the Best Picture that year. So just beat out Taxi Driver.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Rocky's such a damn good movie.
Yep. Definitely. So, and then one of the cool things that I found out, so Martin Scorsese, the director, actually has a cameo in the movie. So he played one of the passengers in the back seat of his cab. So I have a little picture here, so you can see him in the back seat. So in the back, actually Martin Scorsese. But like when I saw it, like I would never even recognize him. Like that's crazy. Yeah, like
that's so
like
cool.
it totally. But it's a young Martin Scorsese, so I mean,
well, yeah,
or younger,
right?
Yeah.
Well, that whole scene seems kind of pivotal. Wow, apparently I can't talk. So pivotal to driving his character, because he's like, you're going to take me to kill my cheating wife, and you're going to. Doesn't he tell him that you're going to get out and you're going to do the job?
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. Like he's on. Like told him, like, you're going to do it. You're just going to do it no matter what, what kind of thing. So yeah.
You probably think I'm crazy, don't you? Probably think I'm crazy for talking like this. Probably think I'm mad for wanting to do this.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
Kind of drives the insanity.
Oh yeah, for sure. And also something I thought was pretty interesting. So before Robert De Niro signed on to play Travis Bickle, so Jeff Bridges was up for the role, and then also Neil Diamond as well. That would have been like a totally different movie to have Neil Diamond.
Wow.
In there. But he was up for the role too, which is kind of crazy to think about.
That would have been absolutely crazy.
Yep. And also just a couple more fun facts that I came across. So when Taxi Driver was greenlit, De Niro was in Italy filming Bernardo Bertolucci's 1900. He'd fly back from Italy to Manhattan, and then that's when he would drive the taxi cab on the weekend. So he'd be filming this movie Clear in Italy, fly back, do a 12-hour shift as a taxi cab driver, and then fly back to Italy to continue filming, which is crazy.
That is incredible. Talk about dedication.
Right, yeah. That is dedication right there. Yep, for sure. But let's see. Looking through some more facts that I have. Like let's see. Oh yeah, so it says that Scorsese wanted De Niro's Mean Streets co-star Harvey Keitel to play the role of the campaign worker originally, the campaign worker Tom. So like the guy that like was working with Sybil at the campaign office, but Keitel wanted the smaller role of Sport the Pimp, and it turns out Keitel knew pimp in his own Hell's Kitchen neighborhood of Manhattan. Keitel took the man to the actor's studio, and together they beefed up sports scenes by improvising dialogue for the characters. They actually brought an actual pimp to like help him with the role, which is kind of crazy. Yeah,
that is crazy.
Yeah.
You know what's that? It's those kinds of stories that kind of just blow my mind about like the beginning of film, how these great actors created these characters.
Right, yeah. Or like another cool fact is the climactic shootout sequence, which was filmed over the course of 3 months, actually, inside a condemned New York apartment building. The famous overhead tracking shot at the end was accomplished by by chainsawing a path in the floor of the apartment above, which made the crumbling building even more rickety and dangerous. Among those who helped Scorsese compose the sequence in the editing room was his pal Steven Spielberg. So Steven Spielberg actually helped with that scene. Yeah, yeah.
That is
Just
mind blowing.
Yeah,
and the fact that what they did is because that whole like overhead scene is amazing. So how they did it blows my mind by chainsawing all the floor.
Yeah, it's crazy. So they're like, yeah, right. We want to put a camera in here. We're gonna take this chainsaw and just like cut like through the floor. Or like I imagine them even doing it like from the floor below, so they're actually cutting the ceiling.
Yes.
You know? Yeah, right. But let's see. Oh yeah. See, so like here's the like theory about the final scene. So there's been much speculation as to whether the film's finale, in which Travis is ionized and enjoys a brief reunion with Betsy, is to be interpreted as actual events or just the fantasy of the dying Travis. Scorsese and Schrader have said that Travis does live at the end, but that he's still as lonely and alienated as ever, and is still a ticking time bomb. And then Schrader said, "I think that the syndrome is just going to start all over again." So like if they were to have a sequel, like he'd be like just back at it again, just as crazy as ever. So I mean, I don't really think the movie really needs a sequel, but I mean, if they would have had one, that's
and that was one of the weird things is apparently Robert De Niro wanted to do a sequel for years.
Oh, really?
From this movie, yes.
That would have been pretty interesting to see something like that, you know?
Yeah.
But so I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about some of the top actors from the movie, just some of their other movies that they've been in, just to see. I found out that I have a lot of holes, especially when it comes to Robert De Niro movies. There's a lot of Robert De Niro movies that I have not seen that I definitely need to see. So I want to just go over Robert De Niro, and then of course Jodie Foster, and maybe I did mention a few Martin Scorsese movies too. But so I'll just go through it, and you can just let me know if you've seen it or if you haven't seen it. But
I will give a thumbs up if I've seen it.
Yeah, that sounds good.
If I have not seen it, I'll give it a thumbs down.
Cool. Yeah. So out of the Robert De Niro movies that I have seen, I mean, obviously Taxi Driver, you will throw that in there. But I don't know if you saw the little short where they did The Father of the Bride Part 3-ish, where they did a little short and Robert De Niro makes a little cameo in it. Like, I would definitely recommend that to anyone who's a fan of Father of the Bride. So
I love Father of the Bride. I thought Father of the Bride, if I remember, was not as good as the first one.
Yeah,
I vaguely remember that. Yeah,
they did a like third one, kind of like a little short where they have the entire cast come back with a couple of extras, and they like see what it'd be like, how the family would handle things during COVID, and like Steve Martin's character just freaking out because he just wants to protect the family, and like he's all worried about like masks, making sure everyone's using hand sanitizer, all this stuff. So they're doing it all over Zoom and stuff. Like they want to get together.
That sounds hilarious.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, I would definitely recommend checking it out. But then you have the Meet the Parents, like all the Meet the Parents movies, which I've seen those ones. And then he's in The Joker, in that one. He's in Silver Linings Playbook, which I've seen. He has a short little cameo in the movie Limitless. He's in that. He's in obviously the movie Machete from Robert Rodriguez. He's in the movie Stardust. He's in Hide and Seek, Godsend, Analyze This and Analyze That. He has a voice in the movie Shark Tale, and then of course he's in Casino and also Goodfellas, and then he's in Backdraft, and then also in the Godfather movies. So,
wow! So I've actually seen every one of those movies you listed.
Nice, huh? That's pretty good, because now if you list all the movies that I haven't seen, the list is even bigger. So these are the ones. These are all the ones that I haven't seen, which is like crazy. Like I have a lot of blind spots. So some more Robert De Niro movies to watch for this show, you know.
Absolutely, man. I'm game. I love
So
Robert
I've not
De Niro.
right. I've not seen Cape Fear.
It's literally one of the best performances from him in any movie. And I know there's a remake of Cape Fear, but I'm sorry, the remake of Cape Fear is a piece of shit. No, should never have
never
been
seen
made.
either one. So
oh my gosh, yeah. Yes. Seriously, one of the best scenes. Counselor. God, I can't wait to watch that movie, dude.
Right.
But it's a really effed up movie. But it's really good.
Really?
Yeah, sorry, continue.
Nice.
What are the other ones of your blind spots, sir?
I've never seen Raging Bull, so that's another classic I gotta see. The Deer Hunter, The Comeback Trail, The Irishman. I still have yet to watch The Irishman.
Oh, Irishman's so good.
Yeah, and then The War with Grandpa. That's a more recent one.
I have no interest in War with Grandpa.
Yeah, same. Yeah, that's when he got into some of his like comedy stuff. That's just kind of not really the same Robert De Niro. I feel like, but
I don't mind comedy. Like I loved him in Meet the Parents. I love those movies.
Right.
Those movies with him are hilarious.
Yeah,
but that was just like a kids movie. No.
Yeah, right. And some of these I never even heard of. So like you may have, but like I just went through his IMDb page, but I'm not seeing Being Flynn.
Not seen that.
The Wizard of Lies, where he played Bernie Madoff. That might have been a TV movie, possibly. I'm not sure.
I think it was an HBO Go Max TV movie.
Okay.
I've never seen
that. Yeah, and then in the movie Joy, which was playing when I worked at the movie theater, and so I've seen bits and pieces, but I've not seen the whole thing.
I've never seen Joy.
He was in Heist. I think that's one of those movies where like a bunch of older actors get together and they want to pull off some kind of heist or something.
Heist is really good. I liked Heist a lot.
Yeah.
So
I've never seen that one. He's in The Intern.
The Intern's good.
Yeah. The King of Comedy.
King of Comedy is
he's in Grudge Match, and I think that's where he fights Sylvester Stallone. I want to say, in Grudge Match, it's like a boxing movie. Movie. Yeah, so there's that one. There's Las Vegas about him and like Morgan Freeman and what's his name from Little Miss Sunshine, who plays the grandpa, and they all go to Las Vegas or whatever.
I don't remember, but I hate Little Miss Sunshine. That is also one.
Right.
No.
Oh, I love.
Yeah, Wes Anderson can go jump off a cliff.
Oh yeah. I'm not a big Wes Anderson fan, but I like Little Miss Sunshine, which actually I don't think he directed that one. I think. Let me look it up now. Now I'm curious. Who directed Little Miss Sunshine?
It just looks like a Wes Anderson film.
Right. Yeah. It was directed by Valerie Ferris, which I've never heard of, but that's Valerie Ferris and Jonathan Dayton. They had two directors, I guess.
Okay, that's what I get for us too.
But it kind of seems like it. You're right. But and then he's in the movie The Family. He was in.
Oh, The Family's good.
Oh yeah, he was in Killing Season. That's the one where he's with John Travolta or something, where they're like out in the woods doing something. I've never seen it, but
I don't think I've ever seen that one actually.
He was in Freelancers. He's in Red Lights, which
Red Lights was good.
I saw the trailer for Red Lights and it looked pretty solid. Kind of looks like a borderline horror movie almost, where he plays some kind of psycho again, but he's older.
It is borderline horror, yeah.
Yeah. He's in New Year's Eve, one of those like weird like romantic comedies that brings back all the famous actors. I wasn't a big fan of it, so actually that should be on my. I have seen New Year's Eve. I didn't like it though.
I didn't like New Year's Eve either. I thought it was dumb.
Yeah, he was in The Big Wedding. He's in Ellis. I haven't seen that. The Bagman, American Hustle, What Just Happened, The Good Shepherd, City by the Sea. So all these are my blind spots. Or Showtime. Him and
I've never seen
him and Eddie Murphy. Yeah. The Score, 15 Minutes, Men of Honor, The
Oh,
Adventures of
Men of
Rocky
Honor,
and
of course, yeah.
yeah, The Adventure of Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Oh yeah, I can remember
Yeah,
that. Yes.
yeah. Flawless, Ronin, Great Expectations, Wag the Dog, Jackie
Great
Brown.
Expectations is horrible. Yeah, no.
Yeah. Copland, Sleepers, Marvin's Room, and also the classic that I need to see, Heat. I never seen Heat. Like that's one of the
Oh,
like
Heat is
classic
so
movies.
good.
Yeah, it's like known to be one of the best action movies probably of all time. The Fan. He's in Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. He's been in so many movies. Like I could go on and on forever. He's in A Bronx
Wow.
Tale. He was in. He's in Midnight Run, Jackknife, We're No Angels, Stanley and Iris, The Untouchables, Once Upon a Time in America, True Confessions, The Godfather Part 2, which I've never seen. I've seen The Godfather 1, but I haven't seen Godfather 2, which everyone said is the best Godfather movie, but I've never seen it. And then, of course, Mean Streets, and then Born to Win. So that was a long list, but
Wow,
all those
there's
are my
a
blind
lot of
spots.
blind spots for me too, actually, man.
Yeah, like
Surprisingly. Yeah.
yeah. So we got a lot of things we can go back and watch but a lot of fuel for the fire for blind spots, you know.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, so Austin says original Cape Fear had Gregory Peck. That's right. So because I
Oh,
want to,
well, I'm special then. Okay.
yeah.
Thank
So I
you,
want to say
Austin.
that the original Cape Fear was an Alfred Hitchcock movie. I think maybe I'm not totally sure, but I feel like it was. So, but oh, so he even said this little cool little fun fact. So just kind of chiming in. Brian De Palma, Martin Scorsese, Steven Spielberg, and Francis Ford Coppola
What?
used to play pool together and would help each other with ideas about shooting scenes,
That's
which is cool.
mind blowing. Those two. So one of the
Yeah,
interesting
they're all
facts was
friends.
actually Brian De Palma actually almost did this movie,
Really?
but then he passed, and then Martin Scorsese took it over.
Okay.
Yeah.
Brian De Palma, like, what is he directed? I want to
jumped
actually
in a
look.
moment too. I had to.
Yeah. Let's see. So Brian De Palma. Now that I'm waiting for it to load. So he's done. Okay. He did. So he's done a whole bunch of amazing movies in the 70s
wow.
and 80s. So like he did Phantom of the Paradise, which is the sequel to Phantom of the Opera. He did Obsession, Carrie, Dress to Kill. Oh yeah, duh. He directed Scarface. Duh, like I should know that. Like he directed.
Oh my gosh,
Scarface. Yeah. And he directed The Untouchables, the Bonfire of the Vanities, Carlito's Way. Like so many like iconic movies.
So many damn good movies. Wow.
Even Mission Impossible. Like he directed the original Mission Impossible. So
yeah.
So yeah.
He was in. Yeah.
He's iconic. So yeah, but yeah. So that'll cover Robert De Niro. So I just want to go over quickly the other two. Jodie Foster. She doesn't have as huge of a library, but there's more of her movies I haven't seen than I have. The only Jodie Fosters I've ever seen is not very many. So Taxi Driver, obviously. I've seen Flight Plan, which is kind of a like a horror thriller sort of. Then Maverick, which is a cool little Western movie.
I've always had a crush on Jodie Foster, man.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. And she was in the original Freaky Friday movie, which
oh yeah,
which I love that.
Yes, she was.
I love that as a kid, yeah. And then she's in the movie Money Monster. So those are the only Jodie Foster movies that I've seen. I've only seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of her movies. So the movies that I haven't seen, which is the big gaping hole, is The Silence of the Lambs. Like I haven't seen any Hannibal in the movie, so like I need to see them. I need to watch them.
Oh my gosh,
yeah.
dude, Silence of the Lambs is incredible.
Yeah, so like that's a huge one on my list. I need to see that for 90s horror definitely. But she was also in Contact.
Contact's an amazing movie too.
The Brave One.
Love
Manchurian. Hotel Artemis.
Amazing movie.
Yeah. Elysium.
Hate.
Carnage. The Beaver, which is a weird kind of movie that she did with Mel Gibson. The Brave One. Inside Man. Panic Room.
Panic Room is amazing. I love that movie.
Yeah, like the only thing that I've seen from Panic Room is like the little the parody that they did for the MTV Movie Awards, where they have somebody, I can't remember who it is. I want to say it was James Franco, but I can't remember for sure. But like pretends to be in the Panic Room with like cornrows and stuff, kind of. But they did a little spoof of that. But and then she was in Anna and the King. She was in and Bugsy Malone was the other one. So a lot of holes for Jodie Foster too. So. But and then Martin Scorsese, like probably for him, I've seen maybe half of Martin Scorsese's movies, so I'm kind of half and half. Like I've seen Taxi Driver, I've seen Wolf of Wall Street, Hugo, and then of course Martin Scorsese directed a huge chunk of Boardwalk Empire. He may have directed all of it, I'm not sure, but
yeah, he directed all. Well, no, 56 episodes. I don't know what all he directed of that, but yeah, that show was amazing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's one of my favorite shows like of all time. And then I've seen Shutter Island, I've seen Gangs of New York, Casino, Goodfellas, and then he also directed a Michael Jackson movie, or I mean music video for the video Bad. So like he directed that.
Oh wow!
Yeah, yeah,
that's
was directed by Martin Scorsese. but out of the ones that I haven't seen, so I've not seen The Irishman, as I mentioned earlier, and then The King of Comedy, Silence, The Aviator, Bringing Out the Dead, Cape Fear, The Last Temptation of Christ, The King of Comedy, and then Raging Bull. So like he's a lot of movies that he does with Robert De Niro, because a lot of those were kind of overlaps a little bit, But so I have about half of Martin Scorsese's filmography to go back and watch. So yeah, there's a lot of movies out there that like. There's so many dang good movies out there that it's like hard to just watch them all.
There is, man.
Like,
yeah,
a lot of holes for sure. That's why I enjoy doing this type of a show. That just gets me out to watch just some of these classic movies, and also doing tier ranker fights too, because you gotta know so many movies from a certain category or whatever. So this week I've been watching some Leonardo DiCaprio movies I haven't seen. So I actually bought the movie The Basketball Diaries because I'm a huge basketball fan and I really wanted to see it. You cannot find that movie online anywhere. It's not streaming anywhere. It's not for rent. So I just bought it off of Amazon. So it'll be here on Friday. So I have that one, and then also I started watching The Quick and the Dead, which I've never seen. It's another classic, like Gene Hackman and
great movie.
And like Russell Crowe's in it.
Wow.
Sharon Stone.
I forgot how ridiculous that cast is.
Yeah, and then who's the black guy that with like the really deep voice and like so many movies? Keith David, he's in it. So
yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm about probably a little less than halfway through. But it's getting good because they're all getting ready to have this big shootout for like all this money. It's like $123,000, which back then is probably like a couple $1 million.
Oh yeah,
like
it is
equivalent. Yeah,
absolutely, dude. Yes.
But I think that'll basically do it for Taxi Driver. I know there was a little bit of a long list, but I just wanted to kind of point out to people the sheer amount of movies that I have not seen. And I feel like I watch like so many movies. Like I probably watch at least like between 3 to 5 movies every week, and I've not seen that many movies. Yeah, so it's crazy. But so before we sign off here, and give the movie a score out of 10. So if you were to give a score from 1 to 10, what would you rate Taxi Driver?
So it's kind of funny. So we were excited to do this movie, and I went to Half Price Books and I bought the movie. I was like, it's gonna be really, really good. Okay. Well, I watched it and I loved it. The music was powerful. Yes, there were some slow scenes, but I feel like they build to what ultimately happens at the end. As I said, I talked about, and also you have the powerful scene, like I love the scene with the other drivers, like he's hanging out with them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that was awesome.
Where's like becoming like kind of one of their posse, like one of their crew or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. There was just so many awesome people in this. Amazing music. For all those reasons I listed, I would actually give this a 10 out of 10 plus. I'd say it's a must own. I'd say it's a must watch. It's definitely not going to be easy. But I'd say it's a movie that no doubt influenced a lot of future films. The way even you see them filmed, even as like I just saw the movie Nobody. I'd say even to a degree, this movie influenced some of those up and close fight scenes that you see in that movie, and that doesn't ruin anything for that movie, because you see that in the trailer. But just and also the character development. One of my favorite things in this movie was the inside his head. I did not think I'd like that, mind you. I was like, "The hell is this?" But it worked.
Right. Yeah,
Because all of us have internal dialogue.
Right.
All of us do. And that really tackled that. So from there, go ahead and take it away, Jordan. What is your rating for this movie? Now I'm curious.
So for me, I will say that the Taxi Driver might be Robert De Niro's best performance of his entire career. I mean, there's some cases to be made. Maybe he was a little better. Maybe Goodfellas. Maybe like The Godfather. Maybe Casino. Some of those movies. But I really think this might be his best performance, because the movie's all about him, like the entire movie from start to finish, and like him becoming this psychopath. And like I did think the movie dragged in the middle a little bit. Actually, like it was kind of funny. So like I made the mistake of watching this movie kind of late at night. So we started watching it one night, and then I ran out of time because I had to be up early for work. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to finish the second half the next night. And then I started watching it when I was a little bit too tired. So I ended up falling asleep, and I woke up to like him just blowing people away, and then just like blood everywhere. I'm like, what the frick is happening? I was like kind of jarred awake by it. And so like I was just like, all right, like rewind. I got to go back and like see everything that I missed. I don't want to miss all this. This is crazy. So yeah, because like when I went to sleep, he didn't have a mohawk yet, and I woke up and he had a mohawk and he's blowing people away. I'm like, what the frick? So I went back and I rewatched it all, but yeah, so like probably for me, like I would give it probably about a 7 out of 10, just because like I understand why you need the slow burn and the slow build up to everything, because if you didn't have that, the scenes at the end wouldn't be as powerful, wouldn't have as much of an impact. I kind of feel like, but at the same time though, like I'm the kind of person that kind of needs things to just move along, and like there's like so many movies that just kind of drag, and like I'm just like, all right, like I have an ADHD brain where like I just need some action or some comedy or something going on, like so to keep my mind interested. But I do recognize that it's a great movie. Like before I said that I liked the movie, that I didn't really love it, but like it's borderline. Like I recognize it for like being one of the all-time greats, one of Martin Scorsese's best movies. So yeah, but still at the end of the day, I got to give it a 7 out of 10. So that's my final score. So
well, that's like it's funny you said what you said. Kind of reminds me of our rating of like the best. What do we do? The best Tom Hanks movies.
Oh,
And
you
I
mean
was like,
the best Steven Spielberg movies? Is that what it was?
yes.
Yes. Yeah.
And everyone was like, the Terminal? Terminal's stupid.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a slow burn, but the character's fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
literally such an incredible movie. And I know it's a hot take, and I know I'm a little bit bitter. A little bit. Okay, really bitter.
Just a wee bit.
Like, majorly bitter.
Yeah. But it's the same thing. Like on that episode, you mentioned 2001, A Space Odyssey. I mean, that movie's great, but at the same time, like a very slow burn, very like just slow moving movie, you know. So it's kind of one of those
still
things.
have yet to actually go back and watch that movie. I need to go back and actually sit down and watch that movie.
We got to watch it because coming up this Sunday, we're gonna have Paul Preston on. He was on that episode, so.
Oh my gosh!
But,
so I gotta be like, hey,
I was gonna ask you.
So yeah.
You're gonna be like, Chris, have you watched 2001: A Space Odyssey yet? He's like, all right, we can't take you seriously yet. No.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
Yep.
Goodbye.
See ya. No. Oh, he's cool. So yeah. But on that note, though, I think that we'll end things there. So yeah,
we're a solid finish. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a review of the movie Taxi Driver, and Chris, where can we find you? I know I always try to throw up this little banner for you, but it just kind of helps. Let's see. We got the little scrolling ticker, but yeah, where can we find you?
So you can find me on Twitter at writer_84, on Instagram at cscott1128, and you're even welcome to follow me on Facebook as well. Let's see, what is my? Oh my gosh, I should know what it is. Wow. If you look up Chris Scott,
yeah.
Well, I'll probably follow it from the show. I mean, because I have moderated it and commented in our group for the Smowdown family. So feel free to follow me from there. I'm always game for as I said, meeting new people. Yeah. Yeah,
for sure. So you can find me and Chris all over the Schmodown Friends and Family group. So you can find us over there. You can find a link to our Facebook and let's see, what do we have coming up? So this upcoming Sunday, we're going to be doing tier ranker fights. So we're going to have our Lon Harris, which for anyone who doesn't know Lon Harris, he has one of the, like probably the best character work on the entire Schmodown. He does this character called the Delinquent that is just like laugh out loud hilarious. And then before that, he had a character called the Professor. So I would definitely look this up because they're a polar opposite character, which is pretty hilarious. And then we're also going to have Paul Preston on there. He's been on before on the Steven Spielberg episode, so that'll be fun. And so yeah, and then we're going to have a group of guys from the community, which actually I want to try to look it up just so I can give everybody a shout out. So we're gonna have Austin.
Absolutely.
He's one of our other co-hosts, and then we are also going to have, I gotta remember his name, but be the first time to have Steven Shepard. So like he's one of the guys that reached out to me from the community. So that's who's gonna be on that episode.
Very cool, man. Well, we're excited to have you join us, Steven. It'll be fun.
Definitely. So and then also next week or as soon as we can get to it, because like we're not always super consistent with blind spots, because like I've been thinking about possibly making blind spots just a once a month thing. We'll kind of see just because of our schedules and everything, but we'll kind of see. So we'll have to let you know when the next one's going to air. But the next movie we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing the movie Alien. So I just watched Alien for the very first time. It's one of the only Alien movies that I've ever seen. Actually, I have seen Alien versus Predator, and I've seen the original Alien. And I think I saw Alien Covenant. So those are the only ones that I've seen. So I definitely need to see all the ones in between. I need to see Aliens with an S. I need to see like all the ones with Sigourney Weaver, all those ones. But I have seen the original Aliens, because we were talking about the best horror movies of the 2000s, and the Alien is definitely a horror movie. Actually, I won't give anything away here as to whether I liked it or I didn't like it. So you have to tune in to find out. But yeah, we'll be covering that. We're gonna have our other co-host Austin Howell on for that episode
since he loves Alien.
Right, yeah, that's his favorite.
We're gonna kind of mix it up. So we're gonna have a third person on talking about Blindspots. So that'll be exciting to have him join us for sure.
Yeah, and then we don't have too many details yet, so we'll let you know more about it. But we are getting ready to start a podcast soon, so that's coming up very soon.
So you'll soon be able to hear us in your ears.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It'll be pretty exciting.
You can see us here with your eyes, and you can hear us with your ear holes when you tune into our podcast. And we'll probably put it on video too, but I want to try to like throw it on like iTunes, throw it on, or like Apple Podcasts or whatever they're calling it now, and then throw it on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, all that stuff. So
that would be awesome. Definitely, yes.
There's some things I'm going to be looking into. So, and then also you can find us, like I said, all over the Schmodown Friends and Family group. So if you have anything that you want to promote, if you have a YouTube channel, you're definitely welcome to promote it to your heart's content in the Schmodown Friends and Family group, and we'll definitely give you a shout out there if you want to talk Schmodown, and we're always game for that. There's some amazing matches that they've been putting out so many matches, probably like 3 matches a week that I've had a hard time keeping up. I used to post all the matches in the group, but there's just so much content that they're putting out versus the content we're putting out. So I'm going to try to do a little better about keeping you guys informed with that. But just go over to the Movie Trivia Schmodown page. I'm going to promote that page also, because you can find all the matches there, and they're literally like 3 a week. So there's plenty of content over there. But yeah, this has been a great time. So for Chris Scott, aka Casablanca Kid, for Jordan Movie Hero Anderson, this has been Blindspots number 6 for Taxi Driver, and we will see you next week.
See you next.